Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and at the time of filming this intro, Rose in Chains comes out in like 4 days. I'm very excited to read this book. This is the first Dramione fan fiction turned traditionally published that I have read, so I'm very excited about this book. And so this is going to be my non-spoiler reading vlog for Rose in Chains. So since this is a reading vlog, I will probably have some mild spoilers, but any major spoilers that I want to talk about, I'll leave towards the end. And there will be clear spoiler tags for those of you who have not read this book yet. Also, I have not read The Auction yet, which is the original fan fiction. So I'm going to go into this blind. I don't know anything about the original fanfic. I mean, I know what it's about, but I have not read it. So I'm going to be reviewing this as somebody with no prior knowledge of the fan fiction. Definitely let me know though, if you would be interested in a comparison of the two, then I might read the fan fiction and then give you my thoughts on both those books. But since I have, that would be in the future. Without further ado, let's cue to the vlog. So I'm on page 272, so chapter 30 of Rose in Chains. And I'm filming this. Actually, the plan is to upload this video today, so I'm gonna have to do a lot more reading to actually finish it. So I have some thoughts. Let's tell you the synopsis first. So this is, as I'm sure a lot of you know, this used to be a Dramione fanfiction called The Auction. Now it's traditionally published. And you follow Bryony and Toven. Both of them are from two different parts of this country. He's from Beaumard, she's from Evermore, and she is the princess. So her twin brother is supposed to be king. But at the beginning of this book, her brother has died and the enemy has taken over. So basically the Evermore has like a traditional king and what you think of like for how succession works basically. So the king firstborn son will be king after him, and then that king's firstborn son will be king after him, stuff like that. For Beaumard it works differently. There's different seats of powers. There's 10 different important lines basically, and they can decide who their successor will be. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. And Beaumard is basically the enemy. Both these different people use different magical abilities or use their magic differently. So Evermore has like brain magic and Beaumard has heart magic, and both those types of magic have different pros and cons basically. But there's always been like some sort of rivalry between the two, but it was always clear that it was the Rosewood family that ruled the land basically. But like these two different countries have, different parts of the countries have different traditions, different values, stuff like that. But now Beaumard has basically killed almost everybody in the Rosewood family tree, and Bryony is one of the few ones left. Now, all the Evermore people are either killed or they're sold in this auction, including Bryony. The reason they're auctioned off is because the Beaumardy people can use them to kind of drain their magic from them to become more powerful basically, which is pretty dangerous because if used too much or too fast, it can husk them, which means they're just walking around a shell of what they used to be without magic, barely living basically. And of course, some Beaumardys are also perverts and disgusting, and also use them as sex slaves basically. And there's also like a type of magic that if you have sex, you can exchange powers, but that could also be twisted in using it to like take without giving back basically. You know, like all sorts of different things. Bryony gets purchased by Toven, who she had a crush on when they were in school together. And there was always like something between them, but he never made it clear that he liked her. And this is a single point of view, so you only get her point of view. And we follow her as she basically is a captive in his house. He does seem to be treating her, like, aside from the fact that yes, he's her master, she cannot go anywhere without him. She's literally like, his name is branded on her skin. He basically lets her do whatever she wants. Like, she has to stay in the room, but if she asks for stuff, he tends to give it to her. And it does seem like he cares for her. And it also seems like he doesn't agree with everything that is happening, but that he has to go along with it. Otherwise, he might also get like captured and sold, basically. Like he could be branded as a traitor to Veronica Mallow, and she is basically the leader of the group. And the reason she's so powerful is that she's the only person that is bonded to a dragon, because for the Beaumard magic, they can have animal familiars, and she, like I said, is the only one that has a dragon as a familiar, which makes her very, very powerful and very long-lived. And this is going to be the romance between Bryony and Tovan, but this is like the first book in a trilogy, so I'm pretty sure we're not going to get their entire story here. I do have to say, it has taken me a while to read this book. It hasn't been until yesterday that I really started getting into it, and the reason for that is the first part was very difficult for me to read. Like it was like, yes, there were some brutal things, but that wasn't really I knew that going in. I knew that there was going to be some, like, this is a dark fantasy romance, of course, but like the first part was all over the place. There were too many characters that I could not, for the life of me, like I just kept getting them confused. Like she dumped, like I'm pretty sure she introduced like 50 characters in the first part, and I just couldn't, like I could not, like anytime there was she was talking about a character, I had to look that person up again and to try and remember who that person was. So I was just confused. I was not into the story at all. And I also really couldn't connect to any of these characters. Like bad things were happening to them in the first book. And yes, I could feel bad about that happening to any person, but I wasn't connected to them. So it didn't hurt me as much as it was hurting Bryony, you know what I mean? Also, the world building felt a bit clunky in the first part. Like I felt like there was just too many things thrown at us that I feel like it could have been condensed. And I get it, it is obviously like, it's different from a fan fiction, because in the fan fiction you can have 50 characters introduced right away because the audience reading the fan fiction already knows all those characters, whereas in an original like new world, I don't know, I don't think it was necessary to have all these characters. The second part I'm liking much more because it's very contained. Like it's her, and the only other characters we see are Tovan and his parents, really. And yes, every once in a while, only one extra character will show up, or only two extra characters will show up. So in that case, it's easier for me to grasp. But like right now, I just read a scene where, once again, a lot of characters were in the same room. And I just breeze over those names, and I can't really remember them. So when they show up again, I forgot that I had already read about them, considering it was just one of the 10 different names I was reading about. And I do have to say, with the second part, the romance is starting to develop a bit that I am really enjoying. And like I said, obviously there's a different sort of dynamic. It is a captor-captive situation here. But what I do like, what this author is doing, is we are getting flashbacks from the past. Like every couple of chapters, we'll get a shorter chapter, like from 7 years ago, or 5.5 years ago, or 6 years ago, where you can see the interactions between Bryony and Tovan, and I do enjoy those. It does build the romance and the character development, and I'm just really intrigued with Tovan. Like for me, for now, like to me, it doesn't seem like this is, like for example, I will be reading Alchemize when that book comes out, but that character was definitely way more antagonistic. He wasn't really treating her the best, whereas Tovan barely touches her, really. Like the only time he actually touches her is if he has to like heal her in some way, or if he has to transport her, because the only way she can leave the house is if he's holding her, basically, or if he's kind of forced to when he's with other people and he has to like pretend that he's using her the same way everybody else is using their heartstrings, is what they're called. I cannot give you a rating so far, like I said, the first part, but it wasn't like that first part was, in the ebook I'm reading, was 120 pages. It felt like I was reading 300 pages. Like it was very, like I just was not enjoying that part at all, whereas the second part I am enjoying. I am like intrigued. I want to know what's going on. I am interested to see how their romance is going to develop. So far, like my enjoyment is going up for sure. We'll have to see how I feel about the rest. And then at the end, I'll just tell you my rating, I guess, because I don't know, to me, because I don't know, I guess we'll see. As far as the magic, like it is clear some things are similar to Harry Potter, but I feel like she did enough reworking that unless you know that it is actually Like it was originally a Harry Potter fan fiction. I don't know for sure if you can get, if you would have noticed. But for me, obviously, I'm reading this knowing it used to be a Harry Potter fan fiction. So some things, like there is a magical ability where if you kill somebody, your heart will split in two. Obviously, that automatically reminds me of Horcruxes. Obviously, the way it's used is different, but like some things are definitely similar to me. So I'm gonna continue reading because, like I said, I have to finish this book plus do my final update and upload this video today. So we'll see if I can manage. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, so I just finished Rose in Chains and I'm kind of tired, so this won't be the longest update. I was debating because I really, really loved the rest of the book. Like it was only part 1 that I didn't enjoy, but part 2 and part 3, and especially like the last couple of chapters, I wanted to know what was going on. There was a lot of things revealed, so a lot of things set up for book 2. But so I really wanted to give it 5 stars, but considering like the first 120 pages, I just did not enjoy. I cannot give it 5 stars. So I decided on a 4.5 stars, which is still it's still a very high rating. I really like this book. I like this type of captor-captive situation, even though I could go definitely much darker. I would still be fine, but I like how like they actually didn't do anything that was against her will. Like at least Tovin didn't do anything that was against her will. Especially in the second and third part, the side characters that we did interact with a lot, I did definitely enjoy. So obviously I really liked Larissa. Like I liked pretty much every scene we got with her, but there's still like a lot of mystery with her. Like what happened? What's the reason why she is where she is? I ended up really enjoying, especially Tovin's mom. I enjoyed a lot of like almost every scene with her. And Tovin and Bryony, I really like their romance. Like it was very like, it's definitely slow burn. Like in this book, like the only thing they did was kiss, and that was like towards the very end of the book. So yes, their story definitely hasn't been told yet. It's clear that we're gonna have to wait for at least part 2, or at least for book 2 to see what is up with them. But I also really like the plot in here. I'm just interested to see like the plot development, what's gonna happen. So yes, I'm very much excited for book 2. I'm very much interested to see what is gonna happen. But if you are interested in reading it, I would say just push through the first part, because I can understand why you would not like the first part. Please don't DNF it at part 1. At least give part 2 a chance. And if you want to DNF at that point, then that is valid. But like I definitely ended up enjoying it. I like Bryony as a character. I think she was a smart heroine, and I really want to like I'm very interested to see what she's gonna do in the second book and the third book. I'm definitely rooting for her. And I do actually find it interesting that like the big bad is a woman, especially considering the fact what she's doing to other women. It's actually addressed here in this book. And I think that's a very interesting discussion. I would definitely say check your triggers before getting into this book, because the thing that disturbed me the most, at least, was like the forced sterilization. Like that just hurt my heart and my soul. Like that was just very awful to read about. And while I do understand that this is a single point of view story, I am like Tovin, to me, like obviously I can infer what is happening. It's clear that he has been pining for her as much as she's been pining for him all these years. But I am interested to actually get his thoughts, and I want to know what is up with him and how long he's been loving her and what his end goal basically is. Do I have any other thoughts? No, I think that is it. I am interested to read The Auction. I am planning on doing that. So definitely look out for a video of me comparing the two. I know one is a fan fiction, the other is traditionally published. It might not be fair to do so, but you know, I really want to see, you know, what she changed, how she changed it, which one I prefer at least. So yeah, I would recommend it. I think it's a solid romantasy, and this is clearly the first part in a trilogy. So both the romance and the plot feels like we've only been told 1/3 of their story. So at least in that case, it is a solid first book. And yeah, like I said, my only criticism really was in part 1, and even in the later parts, whenever the guys from Beaumont are all together, I am just confused. I'm like, who is that again? And what did he do again? And who is his heartstring again? Like, I just found myself just glossing over all that. So hopefully now that some characters have died and the pool has been cold a bit, hopefully in book 2, things will be a little bit more clear for me. So I guess those are my thoughts. Yes, I think I'm just gonna leave it here. If I have any other urgent thoughts, I guess just check out my recent reads, because obviously, like sometimes I just need to sit with books for a bit. And obviously, since I wanted to upload this video today, I could not sit with this book. Like I literally finished it like 5 minutes ago. So I would really love to know if you've read this book, what were your thoughts? And if you have actually read The Auction and now have read Rose in Chains, I would be interested in like a non-spoilery assessment of the two, like which one did you prefer and why is that? So leave all your thoughts down below. If you're down there, leave me a rose emoji. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. I thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.